Forced sterilization of Indigenous women is a dark and largely unknown chapter in Canadian history. Today it is considered an act of cultural genocide.
Saskatoon's Royal University Hospital. It's known as a place of healing, but also one of teaching and training, located on the University of Saskatchewan campus. Within the last year, 4 Indigenous women have come forward, claiming they were sterilized against their will right here at the hospital's maternity ward.
I came in and I was in labor. I was in full labor. And I was alone. I didn't have any family or friends with me. And it was a very traumatic, scary experience for me. I was crying, obviously. And one of the nurses had approached me and she said, clearly you don't want to be in this kind of position again. And there's this option available of having your tubes tied.
They never really said anything in my presence, but I could hear them talking down the hallway, or like the head nurse would always ask the other nurses, did she sign those papers yet? I heard her ask that around 3 or 4 times because my room is just 2 doors down from the nurse's station. So I heard her ask them several times, like, has she signed the papers yet? Has she signed the papers yet?
There's a sheet in front of me. I'm laying down. I can't move. I'm frozen from the waist down. And I said, I don't want to do this. I clearly heard the doctor say, did she sign the consent form? And one of the nurses or whoever it was on the other side of the sheet with her said yes. And that's when I felt her start prodding at me.
The systemic racism endured by Indigenous people in Canada's healthcare system exists because the system was designed that way. The racism endured upon Indigenous people was the Canadian government's attempt to eradicate the Indigenous people. Racism in the healthcare system is one of the many calls to action the Truth and Reconciliation Committee has called upon the Canadian government to address. Here are some of the calls of action in regards to the health of Indigenous people. However, very few of these calls have been addressed by the Canadian government.
On behalf of Saskatoon Health Region, I want to apologize to the women who came forward in the review, who've come forward to us in the past, and who haven't yet been able to come forward to us. I am truly sorry for the coercion for tubal ligation that you experienced while in our care. I'm sorry that you were not treated with the respect, the compassion, and all of the support that you needed and deserved. No woman should ever be treated the way you were treated. I know that those are only words unless you hear of action. And today we commit to you to make positive change and fulfill the spirit of this report.
Social media and voices in numbers can't be unheard. The physical evidence that we see in videos and testimonies of the injustices that Indigenous women experience is how we can all continue to call on the Canadian government to address all of the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action.